Hi everyone, Dr. David Culla here with Synergy Wellness in New York City, and we're going to discuss LPR, Globus, that chronic post-nasal drip, mucus in the chest, like having to clear your throat, having to clear your chest all the time. Where does that come from? And what's that got to do with a hiatal hernia? Well, oftentimes it is not allergies, okay? So stop, putting it in the allergy bucket, because many times it's related to what's called LPR, silent reflux. LPR stands for laryngopharyngeal reflux. So basically GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disease. Same thing where the acid goes in the wrong direction, up and out, okay? Now, mucus. How does that apply to the mucus buildup? So anytime you have acid irritating the esophagus, because the acid belongs in your stomach, right? So when you have a hiatal hernia, that compromises the lower esophageal sphincter, and it also puts pressure on the vagus nerve, which compromises the strength of the lower esophageal sphincter closing, okay, because the vagus nerve controls the motor function of it, right? And it runs right alongside where the hiatal hernia is. Then you have that, the lower esophageal sphincter can't function properly. You have acid pouring up into the esophagus, and then that is the esophagus. That's your body's safety mechanism. That's your body's protective mechanism against any kind of irritant like acid or anything like any enzymes that are maybe toxic or corrosive to the tissues of the esophagus. Then the protective mechanisms start and the body starts to build mucus. Furthermore, what happens is sometimes that acid comes up and little itty bitty droplets of it get into the wrong areas, like the lungs. So it's called micro aspiration. And that is a common, having to clear that throat, even that chronic post-nasal drip, right? And you can have it at night, and oftentimes it does get worse when you lie down at night, but it doesn't just have to be at night. Some people get it all day long. Micro aspiration, going back to that, little invisible droplets of stomach acid get into the wrong tubes and into the throat, into the lungs, and that can create more mucus buildup into the chest more rather than just the throat. So that explains the post-nasal drip, the mucus, all of that, and how it's related to hiatal hernia. So I created a device called the Reflux Shield. What it does is it gets to the source of the problem, pulls the stomach down using an old osteopathic technique that I've been in practice using for 30 years now. I just created this device a couple of years ago, and again, that's the Reflux Shield. So if you have that post-nasal drip, if you have that pit in the throat, that chronic feeling like you have to clear your chest, your throat, these are, again, great symptoms that can be relieved because they are not the worst symptoms of hiatal hernia. When I say great symptoms, what I mean by that is the less uncomfortable symptoms that are associated with hiatal hernia, because there's a lot worse symptoms that are pretty unbearable to live with on a day-to-day basis. So if you're living with that, let's pull the stomach down. You can use the Reflux Shield to do that, and that will control your hiatal hernia related symptoms. Thanks for tuning in. And make sure you follow us. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. We're always putting up new videos, at least 4 a week, at least 16 a month. And we have a membership that we're starting soon on YouTube. So make sure you check that out. A lot of really, really great content. And I dive into hiatal hernias even deeper. So stay tuned. Thank you guys so much. If you got anything from this video, or even if you just like this view of the Empire State Building and the Chrysler Building, give me a like and don't forget to subscribe. Appreciate you guys.